Rashida Jones, welcome to the Daily Social Distancing Show.
The Daily Social Distancing Show? Is
The
that what we're
Daily
calling it?
Social Distancing Show.
Oh, I think it should be called the Daily Social Distancing.
In the United States of America. Well, you know what? I can call it anything now. I can name it what we can call it for this. It can even be like, "Welcome to the Rashida Jones Daily Social Distancing Show."
Social distance.
Social on the shore. Welcome to either way. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm surprised you even have time to do this. To be honest, you are easily one of the most active people I have ever come across in my life. It'll be like, I turn on Netflix, oh, Rashida Jones is in Black AF. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Then it's like, oh, Rashida's also going to be directing episodes of Black AF. Then you're like, wait, she's directing? Isn't she directing other things? They're like, yeah, sometimes she's directing like whether it's ads or movies or other TV shows. And then it's like, oh, she's writing other. So for somebody like you who's always doing something, how have you handled doing so much nothing during the pandemic?
Well, the weird thing about me is, although I like to do things, it's not like I have to be with other people. And in fact, I sort of prefer being with less people. I'm not an extrovert. I might pose as an extrovert sometimes, but I really like time alone. So I miss dancing with my friends, I have to say. I miss like an occasional, like just like an epic night out. But most nights aren't epic. They're just like weird, perfunctory, social, sometimes work-related things. So I'm happy to eliminate that level of going out. I just miss like hugging my friends and dancing, mainly.
I think one of the things that people have always loved about you is the roles that you play. It always feels like there's a little bit of Rashida in them, but you've got a range of characters and a range of personalities. But one thing people have always loved about you in your repertoire is your comedy. Whether it was Parks and Recreation or whether it was like Angie Tribeca. It's like you've always had that charisma in the world of comedy. You're a natural. That's what you are. You've got a new movie coming out now with Bill Murray, one of the comedy legends of all time. And it's interesting because in this movie, you're playing more of a straight role. Was that easier or harder for you, especially when you're in scenes with Bill Murray?
Well, I do tend to play the straight role. Like that has been my cross to bear, for better, for worse, for the past, 15 years of my career. I get to be the kind of sane, thoughtful, pragmatic friend or wife or girlfriend or daughter now of like the kind of zany person. I'm the voice of reason. But, and I do feel like there's a certain skill set to that. But this is the very, very pared down version of the straight man, because Bill plays my father, who is this larger than life, very charismatic figure who has a lot of opinions about men and women and relationships and monogamy and sex. And I just listen. I just take it and I listen, and sometimes disagree with him, but it's no more than like, an eye roll or a head nod. But it's great. I mean, who doesn't want to sit and listen to Bill Murray theorize all day? I mean, that's just a joy as a human being, let alone an actor.
It's a great premise as well. I love the idea of this daughter and father who are on this journey to try and catch the husband who they believe is cheating. It's an interesting way to connect. Like, it's an interesting bond to form between a daughter and her father. What did you like about the project?
Well, I love Sofia Coppola, and I just think she's such a force. She has such a unique aesthetic and perspective as a filmmaker, and I've always wanted to work with her and have worked with her a little bit. So anything that she's doing, I'm interested in. But you also don't see movies like this very often. You don't see movies about adult women and their fathers. Like that's just like a weirdly unexplored territory. And I just loved this idea of like, that bond, and being a daddy's girl myself, exploring like how that bond can sometimes be a bit of a hindrance in terms of like your personal development. Like I think this character has to learn how to not listen to her dad after these years of respecting him and listening to him. She's got to be like, you know what? I got it from here. It's my life. So, and I love that because I've never seen that before.
Another thing we don't see often anymore is human beings socializing like crazy in New York City. And I'm not going to lie, it was triggering for me. I feel like you should put a warning out before the movie because I started watching and I was like, oh, On the Rocks, this is going to be fantastic. Bill Murray, Rashida Jones, here we go. This is fun. And then all I saw was New York pre-pandemic. And for the first like 20 minutes of the movie, I'm like, why are these people hugging each other? Why are people, what are these people doing? Is it weird when you watch it back now and you're like, it's a different world?
It's a different world. Like I anytime I watch anything now, I'm like, don't touch it. Where's your mask? I mean, wash your hands. But especially like with this movie, because we filmed it right before you probably couldn't really film anymore. I mean, we finished in July. It feels instantly nostalgic. We're kind of like didn't know how carefree we were actually being by like, you know, traipsing the streets of New York City. But yeah, it is strange to watch. And there was a couple of things actually that we had to talk about afterwards, because Bill had this whole thing about how people wash their hands too much. And immediately it felt dated, where, you know, we just couldn't say that anymore, you know, in this new era. So yeah, it's weird. It's very strange.
Before I let you go, there is one thing I have been meaning to ask you for a very long time, and I just haven't had the opportunity. It is about an episode of Black Mirror that you wrote, Nosedive. And now I know a lot of people don't know episodes by the title, but it was an episode about a woman who lived in a society based around people judging other people and determining their success or failure in life. I remember watching it going, of all the Black Mirror episodes, this one is the least realistic. I enjoyed it, but I was like, this is the least realistic. I was like, this won't happen. I think it's more likely that you're going to have like the robot bees killing people. This seems a little bit crazy to me. And then social media really kicked into gear. And now we do live in a world where you're one tweet away from your career being taken away. You're one moment away on Facebook from your family canceling. It's become so extreme. Did you prophesy this based on things you were seeing? Or did you just think to yourself, this would be crazy, and then it happened?
Well, I can't take any credit for that, because Charlie Brooker, who created Black Mirror, is an island of genius, and I don't use that word lightly. So he really he's the hub of all of these horrible but very realistic prophecies, because so much of what he's written about has come true, sadly. Right. But I did, you know, I begged him to work on the show, and he brought this idea to me and Mike Schur, who created Parks and Recreation and The Good Place. And I asked Mike to write it with me. And the truth is, I relate to this so much and felt like I could bring some perspective to this, because as somebody who lives a little bit in the public eye, you sort of are in that world anyway. I mean, you are depending on somebody's feeling about you to have a career in some sense. But also, while we were writing it, Charlie and Annabelle, our producer, were sending us articles about how they were already doing this rating system in other places in the world.
Oh, yes.
I won't name, but that was already happening while we were writing it. We were like, is it not going to be futuristic enough by the time it comes out? But yeah, now it really feels like we're so tied to people's perception of us in a social way that's going to actually impact our finances and our ability to move in the world. It's messed up. But I do feel like people are now starting to really understand that they're stuck in that cycle in a way they didn't before.
Well, I watched the episode again, and I was like, man, this is a little too real for comfort.
So like, I owe this episode an apology.
I owe it an apology, and I owe Rashida an apology, but I also owe Rashida gratitude. Thank you so much for joining me on the Rashida Jones Daily Social Distancing Show.
Social Distancing Show.
And I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Take care.